Hello, this is Bob with County Records Research. We're getting ready to begin our Wednesday webinar for April 26th, 2017. It's been quite a quick-moving month, and we're about to go into May. So this has been a fast-moving year with a lot of opportunities. Today we're going to be looking at the basics of our website. This is our introductory webinar that we conduct every Wednesday. If you're viewing this presentation on our YouTube channel, then just be aware that we're providing these presentations free of charge to our clients and prospective clients who want to learn how to use our website in order to identify opportunities in the real estate market. Our focus is properties in foreclosure. These are properties where you have desperate sellers and desperate lenders. And as a result, we have an opportunity to buy in a variety of different ways. We've activated the visual portion of our presentation, so you should see the website in your main page screen. And if you're someone that's viewing this presentation live during our live presentation, that's at 11:45 in the morning on Wednesday, April 26th Pacific time. We are on the West Coast. So our presentations are always scheduled around lunchtime for our West Coast client base, and then they're always uploaded to our YouTube channel so that we have an archive for you, a library of presentations. Every Wednesday we give a general overview of the site, and we show you some of the features and benefits of using the service. And then on Friday, we use this same time slot to focus on finding opportunities. So just bear in mind, every Wednesday we're going to give you an overview of the site and some of the features and functions, and then on Friday we're going to jump right in and do some shopping for properties. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with our overall presentation. This is our main site, and you can see our logo up on top, you can see our 800 number, and then up on the right hand corner is our chat button. It's the light is green and it says online, so we have an operator standing by for clients that have questions and want to join our chat. Okay, so that's available for you. We give you multiple ways that you can contact us with questions regarding properties, how to buy them, and the service itself. So you've got our chat button, you've got our 800 number. We also encourage you to reply to any emails that we've sent you. If you'd like to learn more information and you just want to send us an email to one of the contacts here in the office, there are a few of us here that will send you emails periodically, and of course we are going to try and respond quickly the next business day if you send us an email in the evening. If you send us one during the day, we do try to get back to you before the close of business that same day. Now, this is our main page. Below the 800 number, I have some buttons that I can access. The one on the far right is foreclosure processing. You'll notice that we have this at the top. We also have it all the way at the bottom, and this is for clients that are interested in purchasing notes or have a note and are interested in having us process a foreclosure on their behalf. So foreclosure processing is one of the services that we provide for clients that have a loan against a property and need to take action because they're not getting paid, or if you're an investor that buys a note as a method of investing in properties, then you would use our foreclosure processing if you have a note on a property in California that you wish to foreclose upon in order to either get cash from the transaction or to own the property. Next to that, we have our pricing button, which you can go to if you just want to see how our pricing is set up. It's very basic. We have three different price positions. $89 is your basic service. That's for one zone and all the consultation and services that we provide for people who subscribe to the data. So that's one zone. Two zones is $154 per month, and again you get all the consultation included. Whichever step you take in terms of pricing, you're always going to get the support that you need. This just changes the number of zones you have access to. So finally, our all zone rate is the $195 rate, and that's all counties in all 5 states: California, Nevada, Arizona, Washington, and Oregon. So again, you can subscribe to one area, or you can subscribe to two, or you can subscribe to everything. It really matters as to how you want to control your budget, and if you have a shared account with multiple parties, we definitely recommend that you go for the all zone coverage, because if you're sharing the cost, it really makes sense to share the wealth and to also have access to all of our zones and increase your odds of success by increasing the types of properties and the number of properties that you can go after each day. Next to that is our free trial option. This is a way that you can get started for 5 calendar days free of charge using our data. So just bear in mind that if you do the free 5-day trial, that you can pick all zones. We recommend that you just, why not? It's free. And then within the 5 days, if you decide to limit yourself to one zone at your renewal point, you just let us know. And when we send you the email to welcome you on board, that's when we encourage you to just go ahead and reply and let us know if you want to minimize the number of zones that you're going to carry with your paid account. So your free trial is there specifically so you can try us out. For those of you that are watching this presentation on YouTube, you're welcome to try this out using our 5-day free trial. If you've never done it, we recommend that you jump in and get your feet wet, see what it's like to use our data. More importantly, see what it's like to ask questions and see how we provide you the support that no one else does so that you can go out there and find all your opportunities. Now, to the left of the free trial is our login option. This is where I go into my account. So we're going to do that in just a few minutes as soon as I finish the general overview of the home page of the site. Next to that is About Us. Every website has that, so I'm not going to go into that one. And of course, our home page to take us back to our main page. Now, if I scroll down the page, you'll notice we have another option to start your free trial. We're kind of heavy on that one because we encourage you to, again, get your feet wet. Try the service out. If you haven't done so, do so. You'll find that there's a big difference between our support and other companies because we know what we're talking about. Investors in this office have bought notes, properties, and you're going to find nobody teaches you the analysis part of your property research the way we do. Now, below this section, we've got 3 buttons. One is for investment clubs. You can go in here and see if you've got any investment club that you can join in your area. If you know an investment club in your area that it's not showing up when you do your search in this section, let us know, okay? Because we definitely want to work with all the investment clubs and make sure they're all listed. Okay, investment clubs change from time to time in different county zones. So again, we encourage you, if you know of a club that's not in our list, make sure that we know about it and we'll make sure that we promote that club. And if we're invited to speak at that club, then we'll do even better. We'll actually provide that club a source of revenue. And if you're a part of a club that hasn't taken advantage of our resources that way, we encourage you to do so. That's our affiliate program that's just below here. Now, to the right of the investment clubs in the center is a seminar highlight podcast. These are audio recordings of previous presentations that we've done at seminars, and this is something that you can listen to while you're jogging, riding your bike, in your car. So these are audio recordings. To the right of that is Q&A with Kurt DeMere. Kurt is the founder of the company and an expert in processing foreclosures and buying these types of properties. He's also an owner of a number of buy and hold properties that he's acquired through this data, and he teaches you to do what he's done. You know, one of the famous statements that people make is when they see someone who's successful, they want what that other person has. And Kurt has been well known and is famous for actually giving you the information to learn how he did it and why he continues to do it and how you can do what he's done simply by following easy steps, simple steps. There's nothing that's not rocket science here. It's just focusing on methodology and having a source of properties in default that you can access through our data, and then applying his simple strategies that again are nothing different than what you might have heard from different people before, but not put in the same frame and not provided with the same type of data and support that makes it all worthwhile. So you can go to Q&A with Kurt DeMere and have some answers, frequently asked questions and the answers that go with them. Below that, we have our training and support section. Foreclosure 101 is an article, and each of those little headers is a button that you can click on. So Foreclosure 101, this is an article that we drafted some time back that gives you a breakout of how foreclosures work and how we buy properties. So Foreclosure 101 is a very nice and helpful article, especially if you're just getting started or you're needing to refresh, if you've just come back to us after using our service some years ago, because we've been around for 36 years now. Some clients come back and they just need to get their head around it again. So use the Foreclosure 101 article to do that, and you'll be able to recall things, and you'll also learn a lot more than you already know. Industry terms and definitions is a simple glossary that we put together of a variety of different definitions of terms that we use during our discussions, whether you're talking to us on the phone or you're meeting Kurt at one of his live training events. It's helpful to know when he talks about something, what that something is. So we do encourage you to take advantage of this industry terms and definitions. Now below that is free resources and links. This is a series of websites, including real estate clubs, but also friends that Kurt has met through the years. Foreclosure Forum is a website with Ward Hannigan and his son Eric. That's a really good source of information. Ward's down in San Diego County, and he also does training on how to research these properties. We encourage you to visit his site. He has a lot of helpful insights from decades of research into this type of data, and also, of course, being a very successful investor. So Foreclosure Forum is a great resource. We encourage you to just check it out, see if there's anything there that can help you. Above that is Flipper Connection. This is kind of like a club, but this is an online resource where you can go and hobnob with like-minded folks, maybe find partners if you're a money guy and you want to find a contractor and a realtor, or if you're a realtor and you want to find the contractor and the money guy. Flipper Connection is a way with people to try and get together online without having to go to different outside meetings. We encourage you to think outside the box. We encourage you to look at different ways that you can make the data work best for you. If you need to partner with somebody, by all means do so. If you're a great standalone investor and you're having a good time doing it, then just take advantage of our resources and make sure that you don't miss any opportunities because you didn't get a chance to take some of our training options through the website and through our YouTube channel and our live events. Below you'll find some other links for the PACER service to research court information like bankruptcies. We've got a few attorneys here. We even have some insurance providers. So this is our free resources page. Below that is our video training. This is one of Kurt's presentations that he's done. So this is again just one of our many presentations, and this one we recorded and threw up on the website. Below that is our how to use this website section. This is a series of small recordings, screen captures actually, that cover a lot of the information that I'm going to be going over here in the next few minutes. So just be aware that we try to encapsulate little training vehicles where we give you a specific target solution, like property search options, what a profile looks like, how to set up your Polygon searches. These are all helpful. So if you want to get up to speed on how to use the website, how to make the website more effective for you, then by all means take advantage of these little screen captures that we've done that just kind of reinforce what I'm going over now. Okay. Below that, oh, I'm sorry, actually to the left of that is another series of buttons. Every one of these phrases is a button. So as I said when I talked about the investment clubs, our affiliate login and sign up, this is for people to join our affiliate program. Whether you're an entrepreneur with a business and you want to simply direct people to you and direct others to us, the affiliate program is designed to have us partner with entities like investment clubs that might want to have Kurt speak at the event and then have members sign up for the service. It's a give and take. We give you free access to the site for a temporary time, and then when you do sign up, then whatever club brought you to us actually gets part of the revenue that you pay for the service. So we're giving up some of the revenue that we get paid by the client that joins the service, and that revenue is in turn going to the club for bringing that client to us. So we think it's a really good handshake and a way that together we help people learn how to buy properties, and more importantly, the club is able to accumulate more resources and do more for its members. Below that is our trustee sale bidding service login option. For those of you that use the data and want to buy at auction, we have added a little added bonus, and this is our bidding service where we have a professional bidder that stands at the auction. She's currently working the Los Angeles County auction in the city of Pomona, and what she's doing is she's bidding for clients that want to buy at auction but don't have time to make it to the auction and want to be able to potentially buy properties 5 days a week. So 5 days a week, there's a bidder standing at the busiest auction in Southern California. That's the LA County auction in the city of Pomona. This is about 90% of your auctions in LA County, and she's there open to close, rain or shine, and it gives you a chance to place bids through the system. Now, this is a free setup account that acts in conjunction with your paid account. So if you're paying us the $89 a month to access all the properties in, say, the South Bay, then you're going to be able to bid at auction and buy properties in Long Beach, Rancho Palos Verdes, and the like by simply placing bids with us through the online functions. Now, when you place a bid, you just simply tell us the most you're willing to spend to buy a property, and if you're successful, then we charge a flat rate of $2,900. It's a flat rate fee regardless of the value of the property, because that's to cover the expenses related to having the bidding service itself. And it gives us the ability to put somebody there for you 5 days a week so that you can capture those opportunities. Until you buy a property, this service is a free add-on service to your main account. You must have a standard account in order to qualify to use the bidding service. It is a supplement. Okay, and you can place bids with us as long as you provide us the cashier's checks and the power of attorney so that we can sign those checks once we're successful at bidding at the auction for you. So if you want to learn more about that, don't hesitate to call or email and let us know what questions you've got. I'll tell you, it's a wonderful service. People that have taken advantage of it are so satisfied that they keep coming back. If you're someone that wants to buy multiple properties at the auction and you have other things going on in your life, consider the bidding service, because if you go and your sales get postponed, you tend to kind of get burnt out on having gone to the auction several times and not bought anything. However, if someone is standing at the auction on your behalf anyway, then you're going to find you're a lot more comfortable with the process. You can spend your time focusing on research and making sure you know which properties you want to buy and how much you're willing to spend. And remember, you set a price point. If it comes higher at the auction, you simply don't buy it and it doesn't cost you a nickel. If you're right about the price and you get a great deal, then it's well worth it, and take advantage of it. Those who have love the service. Below that is our property search option. Now, just a note, property search and forms are the only buttons here that require me to be logged into my account. Every one of these other buttons is accessible even if you're not subscribing to the data, because we do encourage people that are still learning this process to get in here and take advantage of our information so that you can learn how to use the website and you can learn how our service benefits you. Once you get accustomed to using our features and benefits, you're going to find that you can't do without our data. Okay? Once you have our data, then you can get all your questions answered by professional consultants that are here 5 days a week from 9 to 6 to help you figure out how to pursue properties. All these advantages are yours as long as you subscribe to the data. Now below property search is frequently asked questions. This is similar to our glossary of definitions, and so these are written answers to questions because, again, sometimes people are working in the wee hours and they want an answer to a question now. So we try to give you as many answers as we can in this type of format so that you're not waiting to get a response from us, but we do respond to your questions very quickly. And if you have questions in the evening and you want to get them off your chest, you can send us an email and we'll respond to that email the very next business day and give you answers to your questions. And you'll find nobody gives you the answers like we do. And nobody has the experience to give you answers that really cover all the bases like County Records Research. Now below that is our forms page. As I said, I need to log into my account to access, but that's a whole page of different documents that you can print out, such as giving 24-hour notice to enter a property, 3-day notice to quit, most importantly the offer form to make an offer to the property owner to buy their property. So a lot of folks, take advantage of that forms page because it allows them to print out their offer form, practice writing it up, and get out there and make offers to people. We encourage you to do that. If you don't make yourself get out and communicate with the people in default, you're not going to find out, A, if the house is empty, B, what kind of condition the property is in, and C, can I work with this homeowner? Okay, now I got to tell you, some of the most successful people start out slow and then just pick up speed, and some people just hit the ground running and they jump right into it. But the thing Kurt will tell you, and any one of us will tell you, is if you don't take action, the action won't happen. We've got to get out there and make it happen for ourselves. So that's our forms page. Below that is our testimonials. This is a brief list of people that have positive comments to say. I can tell you most of the folks that use our service successfully do not give us testimonials because they've found a treasure here and they don't want to, what's the old adage, if you found a gold mine, you don't want to let everybody know where it's at. Well, we're here to let you know where it's at, and it's right here in the data. Okay, so below that is our trustee sale field trips, our foreclosure basics, and our email notifications sign-ups. These are sign-ups where you can set up to receive emails to notify you about upcoming events, about recent purchases people have made and upcoming reduced bids at auction that are exciting, and then finally to just be notified about any upcoming information. The email notifications actually is a way that you can set up a search to be notified about specific types of properties in an area. Now, it's not complete information because you need to subscribe to get complete information. What it does do is it gives you a flavor of what the numbers are like in your area. So if you're interested but want to know more before you set up your free trial, then you can always set up your email notifications, and that way you'll see what kind of numbers are coming through and get ready to jump in. Now on the left-hand side of that, finally, we have About Us, our privacy policy. That's boring stuff. You know about that. Every website has that stuff. And then our calendar of upcoming events. Okay, now our calendar of upcoming events I think is one of the best parts of the site that anybody can access, because this lets you know where we're going to be live for presentations. So on our calendar of upcoming seminars and events, the first section covers our field trip events. These are live trainings where we're at the actual auction location. We've got some unique ones coming up because Kurt is actually going to be out in Nevada this week. On this Thursday, he's going to be speaking twice on this day. 9:30 in the morning, he's going to be at the Nevada Legal Office out front. The parking lot area is where everyone's going to gather. He's going to have a big group here because he's been invited by a group called Paper Source to speak as their keynote speaker on Thursday afternoon, right around lunchtime. But before that, he's going to conduct a field trip event at the auction location, and we time our field trip events in conjunction with the times of the sales. So notice the time we've scheduled is 9:30. Now, if it's at 9:30, that means the sales are expected to start around 10 o'clock. We always schedule our field trip to start around a half hour early. That way if someone's running late, they don't miss much or they miss nothing. But it gives you a chance to get settled in, be prepared, bring your notebook, whatever you want to bring with you so that you can take notes, get your coffee, be settled and ready to learn from Kurt. Now, what Kurt will do during the process of the auctions is he will answer questions, he will narrate the events, and give you a good overview of how foreclosure auctions work. If you understand the process, you're halfway to making your next deal, because you need to know how it all works so you can see how it fits in with you. Some of our clients love to buy at the auction. Some of our clients never buy at the auction. But it helps to understand the process and to see how it all happens. So this is Nevada Legal. This is going to be this Thursday. Now if I scroll all the way down, I just want to point out this is the event that he's going to be speaking at in the afternoon. So from about 1 to 2, Kurt's going to be speaking as the keynote speaker for a several-day seminar. It's the Paper Source Note Symposium. So this is approximately 300 to 400 people getting together to learn how to buy loans. Okay, buying notes is a huge investment opportunity, and Kurt has been very successful in buying apartment buildings by purchasing the loan on the building and then conducting the foreclosure and taking ownership through the process of the auction. So just bear in mind, everything that we teach you are things that we have done ourselves. So our focus is to share the experience and knowledge. So rather than go through the College of Hard Knocks, you go through the College of County Records Research and you learn how to do it the right way, easily, without having to struggle through learning these steps the way some of us have. The bottom line is, the more that you know, the more opportunities will present themselves, because if I can't see something, I'm reaching around in the dark. If I know how to recognize an opportunity, that's turning the light on and allowing me to see those deals as they pop up. So the Paper Source Symposium is going to be from the 27th through the 29th. Now this is a separate entity. So whenever you go to our calendar page, on the top you're going to see our field trips that are our events that are in conjunction with other events. If you go to the bottom, then you'll see the other events where we've been invited to speak. So Kurt's going to be speaking that day on the 27th after the field trip. Now after that, in the first week of May, next week, Kurt's going to actually be speaking in Orange County. He's going to be at the Hilton in Irvine, right by the airport, and he's going to be there speaking from about 7 till about 9 o'clock. All the information for this event is included right here. You can click on the OCFI-BI link to go to their meetup page. You can click on the address link to open the map, and this is an event that's by someone else. Any of these events will likely have a fee to join. Okay, so if there is an event in the calendar at the bottom, then just bear in mind that these other entities will charge for their events. OCFI-BI charges for theirs, $30 per person, and this Paper Source, this is a 3-day event. It's a much longer event. They charge about $300, and it is at a hotel, so you do have to make plans to stay there. I don't know if there's still room left, but the information's all here if you want to check into it, and the event doesn't start till Thursday. You might be able to sneak in, who knows. We do have a special coupon code, and I'm not sure if that still applies, but if you check, maybe it does, and maybe you can be part of that event too if you want to go to Vegas and meet Kurt this week. Now, going back up on top, as I said, Kurt's going to be speaking in Orange County at that meeting, so he's also got a field trip scheduled at the Civic Center in Santa Ana, and notice this one's set for 12 o'clock. That's because the auctions go off at about 12:30. So we always set our field trip events about a half hour before the auctions will begin. So again, you can park, get settled, and be ready to join in, and then we'll have notes here indicating where to meet Kurt so that you'll be able to find him and be ready to participate in that event. Finally, in the center of this section, these are our links to join us for trainings like we're doing right now. Every Wednesday we give you the website overview like I'm doing today, and then every Friday we jump right in and do research on specific properties and take measure of how we would buy those and what the loans are. So Wednesdays are more like today. Fridays are more of a direct research example where we examine specific properties. That being said, we're going to move on with our presentation. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit home. So I'm right back at my main page, and I'm going to select the option to log in. Now, I'm going to log in with my username and password. When you have an account, you'll have your username and password as well. And then notice below I've got this image. I think I know what it is. Sometimes I can make them out pretty easily. Sometimes they're a challenge for me. But I think I can make this one out. So notice that I've typed in the numbers and the letters, but I do not capitalize. I don't have to. I'm going to hit submit, and let's see if I got it right. And I'm in. So now I've just logged into my account. So notice above the welcome, it says property search now, and it also has the my account option. Now, once I put my cursor over my account, notice that we have some subheadings that refer to the different sections within my account on the website. So if I then select my account, then that opens up my basic information on my account. So this is my account. Notice if I look at the bottom, there's my renewal date. This is when I get charged for the service. So this says I get charged on the 24th of the month. So they just took my money 2 days ago, darn them. But this gave me an opportunity to know when that renewal will take place. That way, if I'm using a debit card, I can make sure that I've got money in the account. If I'm using a regular credit card, then I know as a general rule when the charge is going to take place for the service. Now, this is my basic account information. I can also change my username and password here. I can update my email. I can update other things. So just bear in mind that's what this is all for. Now, once I'm in my account information, notice I've got some other tabs here. I can either select them by going to my account, or I can select the tabs up on top. So notice I've got a My Properties option. So I've just selected My Properties. This is where I save property profiles that I've pulled up in my research. So you'll notice if I look at this, I've got a list of different addresses. On the left-hand side, there's the addresses. Now, each of these is a property profile, but you'll notice pretty obviously that there are two different types of records in our system. Notice the ones on top have more information. They have a date on the right-hand side of when the property is going to auction. That's a sale date. They also have a status, and some of them have the bid now option if it's a property in LA County. That's for our bidding service. Now, you will also notice that the records down below don't have information in those columns. They're blank. The difference is that these are notices of default. The ones on top are notices of sale. Notices of sale also include an estimated minimum bid or amount owed on the foreclosing loan. Okay, some of them will show an opening bid figure, most will not. Most of them say zero because the lender has yet to set an opening bid. This is very common. 9 times out of 10, the lenders do not set the bid until the auction begins. That's why with our bidding service, you give us a bid amount, a maximum bid amount, before the auction ever starts and before the opening bid has ever been announced. And people question, why does this work? It works because regardless of where the lender wants to set that opening bid, you should have a price. And I want to emphasize this to all of you, whether you're buying properties at auction or going to the homeowner or buying REOs or bidding on or buying notes and foreclosing on the property yourself. Every property has a price for every person. Okay, so if I want to buy this property in Redondo Beach on Vincent Street, I have a price, okay? Now, once I have a price in my head, my question becomes, how do I get there? So what we teach you on our Friday events and on our different phone calls and when you get to see Kurt in person is, how do we have this thought process? How do we go from, I see a property here in Redondo Beach on Vincent Street, how do we get to, what am I willing to pay for it? And then how do we get to, how do I get that price on this property? Because if the target price I've got is a certain number, then there are ways I can get there and there are ways I can't get there. Sometimes every method is available to me. Other times I only have certain methods that might work because I might have a small amount of financial resources. You know, some people only start out with a small amount of money. Some people have all kinds of cash, in which case they can use any method on the table, You know, bottom line is if I've got enough cash to pay cash for the property at auction, then I've got enough cash to buy it from the homeowner, and I've got enough cash to buy a note. Okay, I'm pretty much wide open. I can do whatever I want. If I'm limited on my cash, then I have to be a little bit more thoughtful and a little bit more creative. Okay, this is why most people buy their first foreclosure by making offers, while some people, once they've graduated to the point where they have enough liquid cash to bid at the auction, prefer that method because it's simpler, especially if I'm buying multifamilies or if I'm buying empty homes and I want to target specifically empty properties because I can take possession the same day. Okay, now notice again we've got the notice of sale records on top that all have an auction date and that estimated minimum bid or amount owed the bank. And on the bottom we have all our notices of default where we don't have that bid and we don't have a sale date. Now all of these records do tell us, however, the loan position. Notice our loan position number is a 1 on this property, so this is for closing first. Also notice we have a senior junior loan column. Now what this tells us, is there any loan ahead of that loan that's foreclosing, or are there any loans behind that loan? Notice in our senior junior loan column we specifically have a slash in between two numbers. Now if it's a foreclosing first, the slash is representing that loan, that first. So there's always going to be a 0 ahead of it because there's nothing ahead of a first. So on this Vincent property in Redondo Beach with a first foreclosing, there's always going to be zeros ahead of the slash. Now in this case, there appears to be a second of $103,950. So the first is the foreclosing loan. So how much are they owed? That estimated minimum bid tells me what they're owed. $1,233,653. So without even opening a profile, I know how much they're owed on the foreclosing first, because that's who's foreclosing. I know there's a second of $103,000, so I know they owe about $1,340,000 or $1,336,000 without even opening the profile. I can just eyeball it and get a sense of what I'm dealing with this particular property. Okay, now so this information is put in this format so I can quickly scan it and get an idea of whether or not I want to look further and find some more details out on this particular property. Now notice on the notice of default records below, I have that same information, except I don't have the amount that's owed on the loan that's in question. Okay, most people at the notice of default stage don't need to worry too much about that anyway, because on this property in Long Beach, I would go to make an offer to the homeowner, and I'm just going to simply go based on what I'm willing to pay for the property in its current condition. Now, both of these types of records have that estimated value. This is our comp value. And remember, with an estimated or comp value, that's what I can potentially sell a property for. I want to emphasize to you because that's important. If this is what I can sell it for after I've fixed it up and paying a realtor to list it and potentially sell it for me if I'm going to pay a realtor, I've had expenses, right? So if I go and see a property that I can potentially sell like this one in Long Beach for $944, then I better have a target price that makes sense, because if I can only get $944 for the property, then what do I really need to sell it or to buy it for this deal to make sense? So again, we crunch the numbers, we arrive at a price point. That price point is valid however we're going to buy the property, and then if we're pursuing it to make an offer, we make an offer. If we're going to pursue it at auction, we pursue it at auction. Whichever method you choose with a specific property, we're here for you to try and make sense of it all. And so every time you see an opportune property, make sure that you follow up with one of us, get your questions answered, and get a better idea of how we administer our philosophies of examining the property and determining the best way to go. It's up to you to figure out what you're willing to pay for a property. Okay, so now every one of these is a record that I've saved by selecting the Save button in my property profiles. Now, notice that once I'm in my Properties screen, I have a couple more buttons here for email and text notifications. These are to notify me of properties that have a scheduled auction date that has or could change. Remember, when I'm in my properties, the sale notices have a sale date and a status. This status can change, this sale date can change because sales get postponed, they get canceled, and then the sales actually finish, they happen. So my email notification option is one thing that I select inside a profile of a sale notice record if I want to be notified by email, or if I want to use the text option. I prefer email myself, so that's why I've got an email record. I don't have any set up to come to my phone. Now, I like to set them up as an email notification because that way I'm going to get notified of what's happening. So here's a property in Downey on Guatemala that's set to go to auction on Thursday. So this particular property, if this sale happens, I'll get an email that tells me that it happened. If the lender sets an opening bid, which they have, the lender set an opening bid of $275,000. So here's what this is telling me. This property has a value of $576 on a foreclosing first that's owed $362. The lender is elected to open the auction at $275. That's exciting. Okay, so this is a potential to buy a $576,000 house that's got an opening bid of $275. Now, does that mean that I'm going to get it for $275 and a penny? Maybe. Or there could be somebody else that shows up there and says, well, this is a $576,000 house. I'm willing to pay $400,000 for it. Okay, now we never know what the other guy will do at the auction. All we can do is set a price and see if we get it. Okay, same is true when you make an offer on any house on any day. If I go to make an offer on a house and Mr. Smith comes in after me and he offers $20,000 more, Mr. Smith will get it, unless he falls out of escrow, in which case I might come in and be the backup offer. So again, we set a price and we see if we can get there from here. So these are my email notifications that I've set up in my notice of sale records. Now, if I go back to my properties, notice I also have a manage folders option. Now, why do I have that? Because in my properties window, notice how all folders is checked. So these are properties that I've saved into a bunch of different folders called my subfolders that are within my manage folders tab. So I clicked on manage folders, and now look at this. These are all my subfolders under my main folder. So I've got second lender buyouts, the city of Artesia, the city of Bellflower, Bob's houses, that's kind of a catch-all. So these are different folders that I've set up so that when I go to save a property, that I have a folder to drop it into. Okay, so I've got San Diego, I've got Redondo Beach, okay, and then so these are all folders that I've created. Now, when I want to add a new folder, I have this section right here. Now, when you start an account, you won't have all these folders because you haven't been in the system as long as I have. So when you go to start your account folders, this section will be all the way up on top because you won't have any of these other folders, right? And so let's say if I want to put in a XYZ folder and hit add folder, the system just saved the XYZ folder, and now I can drop properties into that whenever I want to. Okay, now similarly I could go back to my properties folder and I could say I want to see what's in the XYZ folder, and it's empty. Okay, but I could go to the Bob's Houses folder, and there's 3 properties that I saved in that one. Okay, so now if I go back to my managed folders and let's say, you know, I'm tired of the XYZ folder, it doesn't do me any good because what the heck does XYZ mean? Okay, then I can select that option by checking the box and hit the delete records button. Anytime I go to delete anything out of the system, whether it's a property profile that I've saved or a folder that I've created. Now, I'm not going to eliminate that property from the system. I don't have the power to do that, but I can take it out of my properties folder, just like I can take this subfolder and all the properties that are inside it out of my system if I decide I'm done with this particular folder. So now whenever I select something and hit delete, the system's always got a fail-safe. It's going to ask me if I'm sure, and I can say cancel if I want to keep it, or in this case I'm going to say yeah, what's the point of an XYZ folder? So I'm going to hit OK, right, and now the system just got rid of that XYZ folder. It's gone. Okay, now the last button that I have available here is my searches. Now this is available to me because we can save searches in the site. We have an AI type system built into the website where I can set up a parameter for a search that I can save for future use. So these are searches that I've saved. I've got a polygon for Fountain Valley, Irvine, Palm Springs. I've saved a bunch of different searches. Now notice the ones that I've activated are highlighted in blue. When they're activated, that means that the system is automatically sending me emails when new properties pop up in those areas. And I've got my County Records Research folder. So here's one of my folders that gives me NODs in certain zip codes. Notice I've got my zip codes up on top. So this gave me one on Ogden Drive in Los Angeles. Here is one that gave me a polygon that I created for Chula Vista in San Diego County. So this has given me 2 addresses in Chula Vista. So whenever I activate, here's an LA South. Now notice this one. I call this my LA South big polygon, and I put NOD for notice as a default. Look at the list of properties that came in all brand new in just one day in Long Beach, Carson, Torrance, and Rolling Hills Estates. All of this popped up in a polygon that I created way back when and then activated by selecting the Activate Notifications option. Now, if I want to deactivate one of these, I just hit the Deactivate option. This is in Manhattan Beach. If I hit Deactivate, then it just simply is no longer highlighted in blue, and then I have the option, if I want to reactivate it, of hitting the Activate button. And now that's ready to go again. Okay, so now I can delete it out if I want, and if I hit the delete option, of course it's going to ask me if I'm sure, and I'm going to say no because I want to keep this one. And so I can delete it out, or I can activate it or deactivate it at will, especially if I want to set up a search that I can activate at a timely manner. If I've got a customer, for instance, that wants me to buy properties for him in Irvine, and so I set up a search for the Irvine that matches that criteria, and then I simply activate it when my customer comes back to me and says, okay, Bob, I'm ready to buy another property in Irvine, start shopping for me again. Okay, so we activate them, we deactivate them, we can delete them, and let's go ahead and show you how to set up those searches so that we can see how I saved these searches and how I saved the properties that we just looked at. So first of all, I'm going to select my property search option. Okay, now once we select property search, notice what the website takes us to is my property search page. Up on top, because I have access to all 5 states, I've got all 5 states as tabs that I can select to switch between groups of zones. Okay, so when I'm in this section, I'm going to pick a zone at a time for my preference. You can do the whole state if you want to by clicking all purchase zones. I just, I have a preference that I think less is more, and I want to be able to focus. I want to be able to laser in on exactly what I'm looking for so I can get the best bang for my buck when I'm spending my time researching the site. So let's say, just for argument's sake, that I want to find some properties and I want to look in, say, Riverside County. Okay, so I've selected Riverside County. Notice I've selected the checkbox to the right of Riverside County, and it's now highlighted in blue. Now, if I already know the house I'm looking for, I can type in the street number. If it's 123 Main Street, I can do 123 or Main, not both. Notice there's an or to the right of each box. So we always put in one or the other. We never put in multiples in this single property search. If you've got a parcel number, that's best. Okay. However, if I simply have a street number, I can type it in and hit search. What I'm looking for is usually going to come right to the top, like cream comes to the top. Okay, so most of the time, if I have a specific address and I just type the number in and hit search, that property will pop right up at the top of the list. Okay, once I have a property profile, then I'm going to use the parcel number, and I'm going to do a secondary search, and I'm going to find every record in our system. Our system goes back as far as 8 years, so it's helpful to see historically what's going on with that property, especially if I'm researching something that's going to the auction and I want to make sure I'm clear on the loans. Okay, now I'm going to scroll further down, This is my general property search screen. This is where I do my heavy lifting. Now, under general property search, notice I've got the option of notice a default, and that's going to be selected for me. Now, whatever we choose under the choose one option, we're going to get a date range of 2 weeks in the boxes below. And this is a range, start to finish. So notice my listed dates go from 4/12 to today, 4/26. Okay, and if I do this tomorrow, it'll be 4/13 to 4/27. Okay, so bottom line is that it's set up to give me a 2-week range that's going to match whichever criteria I've chosen up top. So notice the default is the first category. Remember on our previous page when we were in the property, the saved properties folders, the notices default do not have a sale date. So I can only go by the listed or added date in our system. Okay, if I pick upcoming sales, then those listed dates vanish and I get auction dates instead. And again, that's because if I'm going to go buy at the auction, what matters is that it's on its way to auction in the near future. So this starts with today's date and takes me out 2 weeks. Now, every record or every option under choose one gives me a 2-week range that matches the criteria I've chosen so that I can get an accurate search result. So if I go down here and hit search, I'm going to get a search result with a bunch of properties. So what I did is I chose notices of sale, and the system gave me a 2-week range starting with today and looking forward. Now notice how many that gave me. 0 to 20 of 295 records. So I've got almost 300 properties in that Riverside County zone between today and 2 weeks from today. Now, I'm using Google Chrome for the presentation, so notice the tabs up on top. My search result tab is what I'm in right now. I can go and hit the tab on the left, which is my home page, and that takes me back to my property search screens, just so I can refresh myself on what I searched. So I've got upcoming sales, I've got the auction dates of today through the 10th, right? And then I don't have any other criteria that I've set. But look at all these empty boxes. I could type in cities here. I could type in Palm Springs if I want to change my search criteria and leave the date range there because I have 295, right? I'm going to close this record. Now I'm going to close out the search results. I can do that up top by clicking on this little X in Google Chrome, or I can hit return to property search and that'll close it. Okay, now because I don't want to have multiple searches open, that gets confusing, especially when we're doing something like this. So I've got Palm Springs selected as my search criteria. Okay, now let's say that I want to do something even more specific. Let's say I want to say let's look at only multiple unit properties. So use code, I'm going to select property use apartment. Now, because I have just taken 295 properties and I have just narrowed it down and said I only want to look at multifamilies, I think I need to do, and I only want to look in Palm Springs. I've gotten rid of the whole rest of Riverside County. What I'm going to do is I'm going to broaden my date range out, because bottom line is this. When we laser focus on something as specific as apartment units in Palm Springs, then maybe I want to have a wider date range. Okay, so I'm going to push this date range out, and because today is already the 26th, let's do this. I'm going to push this out to May 1st all the way to the end of May, May 31st. Okay, so what I'm asking is show me all the upcoming sales in Palm Springs on multifamily units for the whole month of May as we speak. Now, this report could slightly change in the future because there could be some sales that were set for today that get bumped forward, but let's see what we get. Now, I'm going to hit the search without polygon button because I'm not using the polygon map below. This is the second section of my general search. This is my criteria section. These are my categories. This is my map section if I want to draw a polygon. Okay, so let's say I've got this Palm Springs and I'm doing multifamily for this time frame. I'm going to hit search, and I'm going to hit search without polygon because I'm not using the map. Let's see what we get. Okay, I got nothing. Okay, so this tells me that in the next month from May 1st to May 31st, there are no multifamilies in the city of Palm Springs that I can use, okay? So let's say that I want to expand that criteria. I'm going to get rid of Palm Springs by clicking on the little blue check. Now, before I do that, let me just point out, there are 3 boxes for cities. There's the word city here in Palm Springs. Then there's a second box and a third box. I could type in Indio. I could type in Cathedral City. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to uncheck Palm Springs. Now, I could do zip codes too, but I want to use my polygon search instead. So I'm going to go down here. And notice Palm Springs is on my map, and I can grab the map. I'm left clicking and holding it down, and I can make my map dance. Woohoo, look at that. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in, okay, and I'm going to say, let's take this area that includes Palm Springs, and I'm going to do a left click right here where the 10, because Palm Springs is right here. I'm going to do a left click and then a left click. Look what I just did. I just created a part of a box. And I'm going to keep going. And I'm doing left clicks. What I'm doing is I'm encompassing this area that includes Palm Springs because I didn't get any on that report, right? So what I want to do is I want to open the door to potential properties that I can buy that are in this whole Coachella Valley area. So I'm not just doing just Palm Springs, I'm doing the whole area. Now, notice what I did is I did this oddly shaped trapezoid, multi-sided box, but I'm down to my last points here on the map where I need to connect it right here where Whitewater is, okay? Now, for you and I, this is very difficult. For the computer, it ain't hard because it knows where these points are in very small detail. So on the right, I've got a button that says Close Polyshape. I'm going to click that, and that just finished off my funny shaped little box, okay? So now, because I've used a polygon, I'm going to use the Search Polygon option. Now, I've kept apartment, and I've got the whole month of May, upcoming trustee sales. And I'm going to hit Search Polygon. Let's see if I get lucky. I got one. Indio, of course. It always Indio. Why did it have to be Indio? Okay. So, all right. So what I've got here is I've got an apartment in Indio. Okay. And now this is an interesting one because it looks like this is the whole building. Because I've got a huge loan here on this particular property. The amount owed to lender, it says, is $6,371,000. So I think this is a big building. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this property by clicking on the address. So what do I have? I've just opened my property profile. So this is a notice of sale record on this particular property. And this is a multifamily 2 to 4 units in my property detail section. It's zoned R3, built in 72. I'm just waiting for the map to populate right now. It's moving a little slow today. Now notice the auction detail section below. Remember, notices of sale have auction details. This shows it's posted to go to auction on the 1st. So what's that, next Monday? It was originally set to go in November, but we've been picking up updates, okay? Now if I scroll back up to the top, here's my map. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and I'm going to hit the bird's eye option. Okay, so this looks like a fourplex. I've actually seen some of these go to sale before. So this is like a fourplex in this area. The address is 82435 Requa. And what we have is we have the owner is a Valley and Mountain, and the trustor who borrowed the money was the Cora Family Living Trust. So now the loan that's foreclosing is from 2008 for $4 million. Okay, that's a big loan. Okay, now if I was going to research this further, I would also look into see if this is actually a cross-collateralized, because that's a lot of money to borrow against a fourplex out in the desert. Okay, so this might actually be on multiple properties. So that's something that I would look at in this situation, because this looks like this is way too much money for that one particular property. I also see that the owner is on Sunset Drive in Redlands, so they are an absentee owner living in Redlands or with an office in Redlands. So I could make a direct offer to buy the property. I can also do further research, which we would show you on our Friday show, to find out if this particular property or this particular loan is connected to other parcels. I believe it will be. I think if you did further research, I think you're going to find there's multiple properties on this loan, because that can be. Okay, so now let's say I'm interested in this particular property. It's in Indio, so I'm going to go to my Save button up on top, and I'm going to select my Indio folder, and I'm going to hit Save. So now that record has just been saved to my Indio folder. Okay, now in addition, I'm going to go down to the bottom. Remember I told you about my text notifications or my email. I'm going to select a status change update because I want to know if the status changes. And I'm putting in my email address. Okay, so I've just put in my email address, County Records, make sure I spell it right. I always want to make sure I spell it right. And now I'm requesting a status change update. So if this sale gets canceled, I'll get an email. If it gets postponed, I'll get an email. If they drop the bid for the auction, I'll get it. And anything that happens, any status change, I'll get it. I'm going to hit submit. Okay, now there's one more thing that I want to do, is I want to be notified of any additional properties that pop up in this same polygon that I just created. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep apartment as my use code, upcoming sales as my category option. Don't worry about the auction dates. That doesn't matter, because what we're going to do is we're going to set up and activate a notification. So this is going to be my Coachella Valley apartment NTS search. So right above where I picked choose one, I'm going to hit save this search. And it's important that I only have one zone picked up on top. So now I'm going to call this my Coach, for just to keep it short, Valley, because I know Coachella Valley, right? Or Stagecoach is where that concert's going to be, right? So Coachella Valley APT for apartment, and then NTS, and this is a polygon. Let me see if I can. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of one of the L's in Valley, so I can put poly on the end. Okay, so this is my Coachella Valley apartment NTS poly, so I know what's in it. So when I save this and automate it, which I just did by hitting save, notice I now have my Coachella Valley apartment NTS poly search, and I'm going to hit activate notifications. It's now highlighted in blue, and now for future, any new records that pop up in this target polygon that are multifamilies, I'm going to get an email, and that email will have a header on it that tells me exactly what I'm getting. It's my Coachella Valley apartment NTS polygon search that I just set up, and now you know how to do the same thing. So use this information, use the features and benefits of the site, and we'll see you on Friday, and we'll teach you about how to research particular properties and how to use the single property search.